And for 20 years, one Hurricane Katrina victim lay in an unmarked grave at the memorial on Canal Street. But tonight, she is no longer unidentified. She has finally been laid to rest back home in St. Bernard Parish.
A WWL Louisiana investigation helped lead to her identification nearly a year ago. And this morning, Dorothy Taquino had a proper funeral with family at her graveside. Devin Bartolotta reports.
Friday morning, under drizzly Chalmette skies, the final wishes of a woman who spent 20 years without a name were finally fulfilled.
We're happy that it's all done and she's where she belongs.
Jay Driggers is one of the few living relatives of Dorothy Driggers Taquino. Now graveside, reflecting on his memories of his Aunt Dot decades after she died.
We'd always be excited to come over. She would make sure that we have all the sugar that we're not supposed to have, all the candy and everything.
St. Bernard Memorial Gardens is where Dorothy Taquino always planned to spend eternity. She purchased this plot herself in 1988. While she was born and raised in New Orleans, St. Bernard Parish was home. She spent her married years and her golden years here. She lived and died in a modest home on Community Street in Araby, becoming one of about 150 people in St. Bernard killed by Katrina's wrath.
Hard to think and go back.
Those days are still difficult to talk about for then coroner Dr. Brian Bertucci.
Not one aspect of your life was left intact. So you learn that everything is a temporary gift from God, and he's going to take them back one day. In Katrina's case, sometimes he takes them all back on the same day.
And in Dorothy's case, sometimes a name gets taken away too. In June of 2025, leading up to the 20th anniversary of Hurricane Katrina, we sought to publish a list of descriptions of the people buried at the memorial site on Canal Street behind unmarked graves. We quickly learned a collective list does not exist, and the coroner's office could not easily find the documents we needed to create one. So we started following breadcrumbs. We found some descriptions of unidentified persons from Katrina in newspapers, in our own WWL reporting through the years, autopsy reports, and on NamUs, the National Missing and Unidentified Persons System. That site listed an unidentified woman wearing a yellow metal chain with Joseph Cone High School on it. But she was found in Araby, St. Bernard Parish. We wondered why she'd been buried among Orleans Parish's unidentified victims. So we fired off an email to the St. Bernard Parish Coroner's Office, and we got lucky.
This is it.
Investigator Ray Terrio was as curious as we were.
All three of us got the email, and then, okay, what's going on with this? And then, you know what? I was here for Katrina. Let's start digging.
Terrio, who was with the sheriff's office during Katrina, worked this lingering case all summer, starting with the address where the body was found and utility bills there. That gave him a name, Dorothy Driggers Taquino. And that Joseph Cone necklace brought him to NOLA Public Schools, where they were also able to make a connection to that name, pulling Dorothy's diploma from 1942. Terrio found the Driggers family plot in New Orleans and Dorothy's husband's headstone. It led us to trace her life story through New Orleans, through census reports, and eventually build her family tree to track down her living niece.
When I was growing up, everybody on my mama's side of the family, you look just like your aunt died, just like your aunt died.
Jean Driggers lost everything in Katrina, including her beloved Aunt Dot, who she tried to positively identify after the storm. But in the chaos, they were never able to make a certain match.
Me and my brother discussed it, and we were like, okay, well, we'll just let it lie for right now.
Renewed hope came as the 20th anniversary of the storm approached. Investigator Terrio and St. Bernard coroner Greg Fernandez got Dorothy a death certificate and then handed over their solid case to the Orleans Parish Coroner's Office, hoping they'd allow Dorothy's remains to be transferred to St. Bernard.
It took patience. It took some pushing. It took some begging. It took a lot of things to get to this point.
It took 10 months, but on a sunny Saturday morning in May, Dorothy's remains were exhumed from the Hurricane Katrina Memorial on Canal Street. The casket frozen in time from the day she was interred.
When we took the casket out and the rose was on top, it's like, wow, we're bringing her home. Dorothy's going home.
All of the moving costs covered by St. Bernard Memorial Funeral Home and Gardens, where Dorothy had purchased a plot 37 years ago.
This is a point in Dorothy's life where she gets to finally be at peace, and so I think we're all smiling and happy that this has finally come to a conclusion.
Friday morning at her funeral, a room full of people saw Dorothy's high school diploma and report card and the rose from her casket, and one critical piece of the case that was found inside of it: the Joseph Cone High School necklace Dorothy was wearing when she was found, that helped investigators finally discover her name.
It's been a culmination of plenty years of hard work by many different people, and so we've just been very grateful.
Her family, members of the Sheriff's Office and Fire Department, Parish President Louis Pomez, Investigator Ray Terrio, Coroner Dr. Fernandez, and funeral home staff who worked tirelessly, said goodbye and joined in prayer. They presented the rose and one final gift.
The second gift we have for you is the jewelry that was used to bring this Dorothy home.
A moment of closure for the Driggers family and for those who still wrestle with the memories of all the storm took away.
You never heal. It never goes away. You constantly, my wife will ask me constantly, why don't you talk about Katrina? I said, because I don't want to go back there.
After 20 years in the wrong parish as an unidentified person, Dorothy Driggers Taquino was lowered into the ground beneath her name. And fulfilling another promise, Jean was the first person to put flowers at her headstone. Dorothy is finally back in St. Bernard, finally home.
Well, getting to this moment took a lot of hard work and determination, especially by our Devin Bartolotta and our producer, Tori Josie. You can find their original and full documentary showing that process, as well as more on Dorothy's life, watching Bringing Dorothy Home on our website and the free WWL streaming app.